sarcophagus, he reinscribes these stereotypes. And unfortunately, Trayvon Martin's body was a sign of danger, otherness, productivity, according to Zimmerman. As I watched the Trayvon murder trial, with images of Trayvon laying on the grass in bold, I was reminded of Kanye's lines in 2 words when he says, "I basically know now. We get racially profiled, cuffed up, and hosed down, except it wasn't a water hose penetrating Trayvon's body, those were bullets." The final section is entitled Repressed Black Male Liberation, so it's entitled Sexual Exploitation and Social Outlet. So Kanye appears to be at the forefront of a sexist regime, disguised as black liberation in the form of art. In Gorgeous, he raises black male consciousness regarding stereotypes plaguing the black community. Namely, he identifies the negative portrayal of black males, such as black youngsters falling for the love of balling. He critiques the ways in which America polarizes and hierarchizes ethnic names like Jerome and Brandon, further expanding the gulf that exists between men of different races. Kanye offers a critique of the AIDS epidemic among black males, stating that it's a conspiracy initiated by the government. He also confronts the issues of mass imprisonment of black men and the white stereotype of the black male as an athlete rather than as a man with intellectual capacities. But how can Kanye, all on one track, herald such pertinent racial issues and simultaneously advocate the consumption of more drinks accompanied by an American Apparel girl wearing nothing but tights? In Gorgeous, compulsory heterosexuality becomes an outlet for that which has not been attained, black male liberation. For Freud, as re-explained by Terry Eagleton in Literary Theory, it is by virtue of such sublimation that civilization itself comes about. By switching and harnessing our instincts to these higher goals, cultural history itself is created. So basically the idea is that you have these desires that are repressed, and when you can't sublimate these desires onto some type of social outlet, you become overly neurotic. We're all neurotic, overly neurotic. So this theory therefore involves deferring one's initial desire, i.e. black male visibility and equality, for immediate gratification, i.e. sexual exploitation of women, as a means of coping with unfulfilled desires. So one might uncritically accept such a theory, except in this case, the social outlet manifests itself in the form of sexual exploitation, in which the woman is reduced to her anatomy and the sexual agency she wills. Also, the black male, who has been perceived as invisible and animalistic, forcibly inserts his being into civilization through this devaluation of women, which he considers a more, quote-unquote, socially valued end. Then sexual exploitation becomes an outlet for the frustrated, racially degraded black male subject. The next example is New Slave. So it's on its new track, its new album, Yeezus, and it's been running rampant over the media, throughout the media. So New Slave, a song on Kanye's latest album, anticipates and condemns the version of private prison system wherein a de facto system of enslaving black male drug kings will occur by mandating these men to perform underpaid labor in order to be of service to private corporations, thus creating new slaves. New Slaves exposes how black males are confronted by a privately owned white corporation that seeks to systematically subject them to exile, much like the goal of the racial exclusive institution of patriarchy. And by the end of the track, it becomes of necessity to Kanye to invert the power structure by assuming the role of oppressor. So Kanye appeals to his black male audience by appropriating a rather violent, hypermasculinist tone. In the track, he engages in the process of sublimation vis-a-vis the sexual violation of white women in order to mitigate his frustrations regarding a system that abets the invisibility and exploitation of black males. The sincerity and authenticity of his message can be questioned when he embarks on an oppressive rant at the end of New Slaves, threatening to sexually violate the wives of these private corporation owners by forcing them into intercourse and by ejaculating semen inside of their mouths and on their clothing. Kanye is getting his any meaning by any means over, and his resolve to assert his presence and manhood in the most morally dubious fashion in a white capitalist patriarchal society like the Hamptons, where the 1% of wealthy capitalists reside, a society in which only his purchasing power may gain him entry. So to conclude, New Slaves and many other tracks are problematic in that he uses a sexually exploitative framework as a means of addressing issues of racism and the politics of the black male body. Black male masculinity, to a degree, does not exist autonomously or existentially, although it should, and at one point it did. The lack of black autonomy is dangerous in that it imprisons black men and condemns them to perpetual white patriarchal stereotyping. Even Kanye articulates in his own I gave you that example, right? So even if I buy a Benz, that still does not mean that I'll be recognized, right? However, they cannot respond by Kanye and others, or by no means, I'm sorry, am I arguing that black males should ignore the racist white gaze. However, they can't respond by subjecting women to the same subjugation and dehumanization, because they've been dehumanized and feminized. Kanye has to realize that inflicting oppression upon another group of human beings doesn't mean he is liberated. In fact, it means he's still thinking as the victim, and so is still oppressed. It also means that he is corroborating with the exploitative goals of the rap industry at the expense of female liberation, both black and white, and black male liberation. This is a much longer essay, like about maybe 15 pages longer than what I presented today. So there's a full reference page available upon request and in the actual book.